So today is Sunday, October 5th, 2025. We are going to talk about the Platform Sutra in the chapter of the doubt. So last time we were talking about a few key points. One is hiding faults means defending one's mistake with excuses or arrogance. The second one is excusing wrongs with slogan like, I like it, so it's okay, which leads to chaos and undermined morality. Third one is distorting right and wrong for self-interest, harm society. Truth must be judged by present benefit, not uncertain future claims. And the fourth one is foresight is valuable, but imposing it on others creates unrest. The fifth one is the noble person admits mistake only, openly, while denial and argument reveal an unworthy mind. So this section emphasizes that wisdom and worthiness come from honesty and responsibility, not self-defense or stubborn denial. And that is when we ended the talk on September 28, 2025. Now let's continue. Because when others already think you're wrong, arguing will not help. In Japan, lawyers are called bengoshi, meaning defense debater, one who argues for what is right and wrong according to law. Now, the idea is that through legal reasoning, one can find a fair and reasonable path. This is not the same as covering up faults. However, can the lawyers, or judges truly be that just and reasonable? And well, when asked a judge, then he may say, no, we cannot. Therefore, many judges nowadays study Buddhism, using compassion and wisdom to view human disputes and resolve them. This shows that legal argument alone is not necessarily right. Approaching problem with a Buddhist attitude is the best way. Now, in our monastery, our Dharma protection members often use two phrases. Brother and sister, I'm sorry. Amitabha. Thank you. So saying I'm sorry is the best thing. Saying thank you is the best thing. Even if someone slaps you without reason, you should think he must have a reason. Even if you can't say thank you, at least say, I'm sorry, I made you angry. There was a story like this. There was an old man waiting for a bus. a young man accidentally stepped on his foot and quickly ran away, afraid of trouble. The old man chased after him. So it seems like they were going to fight. But when the old man caught up, when the old man, uh, um, came to the young man, the old man hugged the youth and said, "Son, I'm sorry, my foot startled you." If the youth had tried to defend himself, he might have said, "Your foot was in the wrong place. That's why I stepped on it." But because the old man apologized first, the young man was moved. If every young person could meet such an elder, they would all be transformed. Now we come to the translation. Persist daily in just, benevolent deeds. Charity is not the means to attain the way. So you could put another way, say, in daily life, constantly benefit others. Attainment does not come from giving money. Now, these two lines means that in our daily life, the most important thing is to help others so they may benefit. Enlightenment is not achieved by giving money. It is like the Boy Scouts motto, do 10 good deeds a day. And the great Chan master Yongming Yanshou once he practiced 108 good deeds every day, not just by donating money, but through his every action and interaction. Whenever he encountered something or someone, he found a way to be of benefit. And this is how one realizes the way. So we continue on with the formless verse. Search out body only in the mind, while toil outside in search of the profound. Or we put another way, seek body only seek body only within your mind, while labor to search for mysterious outside. Now the meaning of the word body means awakening or enlightenment. True wisdom is awakening. Awakening is body. So to seek body or enlightenment, one must cultivate inwardly. If we wish to attain enlightenment or Buddhahood, we must work on our own mind, not to chase external appearances or criticize others. Bodhi and Buddhahood arise from being truly human. If we fail to fulfill our human responsibilities or cares for others in daily life, we cannot realize the way. Purify the human heart, then the Pure Land appeared. Now, in our monastery wall hang two lines. uplift the quality of humanity, uplift the quality of humanity, build a pure land on earth. This means purifying the heart first. When one old person's mind becomes pure, it influences others, and gradually the entire world becomes a pure land. However, today's environmental protection movements, whether in America, Japan, or Taiwan, focus mostly on material environment. They forget the importance of spiritual ecology. Sometimes environmental campaigns even create waste. Well, say for example in the US, a protest for environmental protection that left behind piles of flyers and banners. This shows that they treat only the surface, not the root. True environmental protection must begin within the mind. So at our monastery, we practiced both. First, material conservation, reduce waste, recycling, use stainless steel bowls instead of disposable ones, and use paper, even the book. One of the books of our teacher was printed on recycled paper. And we use solar power for heating water and wood fire only during long rainy periods. We aim to lessen dependence on natural resources. If we do not raise environmental awareness, the Earth's resources will continue to be depleted and polluted. In the past, one could dig a hole here and get clean water. Now the well water is acidic and foul. That is a serious crisis. At Dharma Mountain, we strive to preserve clean water and natural purity. We promote environmental protection not through slogans or banners, but through living demonstration. We don't force anyone to follow. We simply do it ourselves quietly. Concerning the change in practice of releasing life, in the past, we released many animals, fish, turtles, birds, but we found that this often caused harm. Some turtles even had carving on their shells, showing which group released them. Clearly, they had been caught and released multiple times. Such well-meaning acts actually cause suffering, so we stopped the practice. And as a result, our Life Release Association, once with over 400 members, now has only about 30 active ones. Since they no longer see us releasing animals, yet we maintain firm in our new understanding. We hope that with time, people's concepts will also evolve. So just let it a brief summary of the teaching here. Compassionate wisdom in everyday life through Buddhist insight. First of all, is beyond legal justice. True fairness is not achieved through argument or law, but through wisdom and compassion. Even judges studying Buddhism realize that inner virtue matters more than outer logic. The second point is apology and gratitude as practice. The phrases saying, I'm sorry and thank you, embody humanity and kindness. And of course, we gave the example of the old man apologizing to a young man who stepped actually on him, shows how gentleness transforms conflict into harmony. The third point is daily beneficence. True cultivation is found in small acts of goodness, not in money or rituals. Like Master Yongming Yanshou, he has 108 deeds daily, which he promised himself to do. Enlightenment grows through ordinary compassion. The third point is seeking body within. Enlightenment arises from inner cultivation, ethical living, and care for others, not external rituals or mystical searching. The fifth point is spiritual, environmental, and environmental ecology. Genuine environmental protection begins by purifying the mind. And in our monastery, it demonstrates this through eco practices, solar energy, recycling, waste reduction, and mindful living. And the sixth point is evolving compassion. Even well-meaning practices like animal release must be guided by wisdom, not blind ritual. True compassion avoids causing unintended harm. In essence, awakening and environmental harmony both begin within the mind through humility, gratitude, and the daily practice of benefiting others. Then we found this phrase, continue with, why toil outside in search of the profound? Or some may translate, why labor to seek the mysterious outside the self? Well, anyway, first of all is about spiritual environmental protection. Another important aspect we must emphasize is ritual environmental protection. This idea comes from the Platform Sutra of the Sixth Patriarch, which says, seeking bodhi only within the mind, why labor to search for mysteries outside? These two lines are profoundly meaningful. They remind us that mental hygiene is even more important than outward attempts to conquer or remodel nature. In the past, people said man can conquer heaven, seeking to reshape nature. Now that humans have excessive altered nature, the ones suffering are ourselves. Therefore, we advocate harmonize with nature, not destroying them, but to protect ecosystems, plants, animals, and natural resources. This is how we save society and humanity. Buddhism has never aimed to conquer nature. The hardest thing to conquer is one's own mind. When our minds contain love for people, society, and the environment, then our surroundings will naturally be protected. But if we act out of selfishness and greed, we easily damage our family, society, and natural environment. Hence, the Buddhist community must come to a shared understanding of this. In fact, Buddhism long ago promoted the practice of releasing life, but its true meaning is protecting life, preserving the balance of nature, and refraining from cruelty to animals. However, today the environment has changed. Animals' natural living space are shrinking. First, fish, bird, and poultry are most artificial breed. When we release more of them, leaders produce even more. Sometimes our effort to protect nature actually harm its ecosystem. For example, releasing fish or turtles into unsuitable places pollutes those areas, introduces toxic bacteria, and disrupts native species. Therefore, we must re-evaluate and promoting. Therefore, we must re-evaluate and advocate for a wiser, more meaningful understanding of protecting life. To cultivate a pure mind means reducing greed, anger, ignorance, doubt, and arrogance. The fewer such defilements we harbor, the healthier our mental state becomes. And our teacher, sometimes when he's alive, the time that we were still alive, he would tell the resident monastics, asking what causes illness. Well, people say illness enters through the mouth, misfortune leaves through the mouth, meaning wrong eating or speech. But from the Buddhist view, illness comes from the disharmony of the four elements: earth, water, fire, and wind. So it is the disharmony of the four elements within the body. Imbalances in fluid, temperature, breath, muscles, and nerves. Yet, the root cause is the mind. When the mind is unsettled or knotted, the body's qi, the vital energy, becomes blocked. So whenever energy stagnates, sickness manifests. Each organ, liver, intestines, heart, lung, spleen, kidneys, has its own network of meridians. When one meridian is obstructed, the system fails to flow and illness arises. Once illness develops, it affects both body and mind, creating a vicious cycle. That is to say, mental distress worsens physical illness, and physical pain intensifies mental suffering. Therefore, our teacher told us to harmonize and stabilize the mind. When the mind is balanced, the body becomes healthy and energy flows smoothly. Some say, I'm unlucky, but being unlucky is not as bad as having blocked energy. Bad luck merely causes external difficulties. Blocked energy brings real illness. Even if your fortune is pure, as long as your mind is peaceful and your energy flows, your body stays well. As the saying goes, if the green hills remain, there will always be worried. A healthy mind sustains a healthy body. A healthy body, in turn, uplifts those around us. But if our energy is blocked and our mind knotted, we start resenting people and things, repeating inner pollution outward. Therefore, environmental pollution begins in the mind, not in the environment itself. When we lessen material greed and sensual indulgence, our consumption of natural resources decreases, and our protection of the ecosystem becomes more active. Hence, using the Dharma to regulate the mind is the most essential lesson in the great movements of environmental protections. So we go back to to give the summary like this. This section deepened the teaching of Sikh Bodhi only within the mind by linking spiritual purification to environmental harmony, using ecology as true the first one is inner ecology as true ecology. So Buddhism emphasizes spiritual environmentalism, cleansing the mind rather than conquering nature. Second one is humanity's attempt to dominate nature has led to self-destruction. Only compassion and inner purity can restore balance. The third one is true protection of the earth begins from an awakened mind that loves life and avoid selfishness. Then another point is re-understanding the life release practice. The traditional Buddhist act of releasing animals was originally about compassion and preserving ecosystems. Both modern misuse, releasing artificial or invasive species causes pollution and ecological harm. So the teaching calls for wise compassion, protecting life through understanding, not blind ritual. Then another one is purified of mind and health. The Bodhi mind equals the pure mind, free from greed, anger, arrogance, doubt, and pride. Mental disturbances causes blocked energy, leading to illness, calmness, and balance restore health. Physical and mental health are interdependent. Purifying the mind heals most. Then we come to another point, the so-called inner pollution and outer pollution. So environmental destruction originates from inner defilements, which they are greed, anger, and ignorance. When the mind is at peace, our consumption and impact naturally return. So environmental destruction originates from inner defilements, greed, anger, and ignorance. When the mind is at peace, our consumption and impact naturally lessens. Therefore, mental cultivation is the root of all true mental protection. So, in essence, to heal the planet, we must first heal the mind. Environmental protection begins not with laws or slogans, but with inner purification, compassion, and mindfulness. And this is the heart of spiritual environmentalism in Buddhism. So, continue with the translation on the formless verse. Just as you hear these words practiced, heaven then appears right before your eyes. Or, we put it another way, it is said that by cultivating according to this teaching, heaven is right before your eyes. So, if we follow the teachings mentioned above, then the Pure Land appears here and now. And the masters, the sixth trainer, said, good friends, you must all cultivate according to this verse. When you perceive your self-nature and realize the mind, you sweep away delusion and attain the path of Buddhahood. The Dharma does not depend on conditions. Now, everyone may disperse. I will return to Chaoxi. If you have further doubts, come again to me. At that time, the governor, the officials, laymen, and laywomen present all gain enlightenment, had faith, accept, and put the teaching into practice. This means if we practice according to this verse and turn inward to seek our true nature and understand and realize the mind, we can immediately attain Buddhahood. The Dharma does not depend on condition, means that enlightenment does not rely on external causes or on waiting for some future time. The relationship between the practitioners and the Dharma is non-dual. They are originally one. Therefore, attaining realization is not difficult. It can happen instantly when the mind advances. At that moment, Huineng concluded his teaching and told everyone they could disperse, saying he would return to Chaoxi, which is Nanhua Monastery in Guangdong. He added, in Guangdong, he added, if anyone still has doubts, come to ask me again. Hearing these final words and the verse, the governor Wei and his officials, as well as all the laymen and laywomen present, each attain understanding in faith, and they accept the cleaning and vowed to follow it. So each attain understanding and faith. They accept the teaching and vow to follow it. Their awakening vary in depths, some deep, some shallow. Even a partial understanding, when it leads to sincere practice, can be called enlightenment. Then the teacher concludes, if we measure by this standard, those who truly listen, understand, and begin to apply the teaching have already attained some awakening, though not yet complete enlightenment or great enlightenment. It is still genuine insight, the beginning of the path. So we put a summary like this. This passage concludes the teaching of the Platform Sutra section by emphasizing immediate enlightenment through direct realization of the mind. Heaven and Pure Land are here and now. By sincerely practicing the teaching above, turning inward and realizing the true nature, our experiences heaven or the Pure Land in the present moment, not elsewhere or after that. The teaching dissolves the duality between this world and paradise, awakening, transforming the very world we live. Then we practice according to the verse. The sixth patriarch instructs practitioners to cultivate in accordance with the verse that points directly to one's self-nature. Enlightenment is not obtained from external sources, but realized inwardly through clear awareness of the mind. Then the Dharma is not relative or dependent. It is beyond time, space, and cause. Since our nature and Buddha nature are originally one, and enlightenment is not something to gain, but something to see. And after completing the teaching, Huineng announced his return to Chaoxi, inviting anyone with remaining doubts to seek clarification, showing both compassion and finality in his instruction. So the governor, Wei, officials, and lay followers all experience awakening after hearing his verse. Their realization vary in depth, some profound, some initial, but all genuine. Even partial awakening, when accompanied by faith and action, is already the path toward Buddhahood. So the key message here is the Pure Land and enlightenment are not distant goals, but present reality. When one turns inward and sees the mind as it is, the ordinary world becomes paradise. Practicing the Dharma here and now, without reliance on externals, is the essence of sudden enlightenment. So the talk ends here.
Well,